Okay, so our next team of speakers are well known for their strategic partnership in fintech. Please join me in welcoming Dov Marmer from Greendot, Claudio Esposito from Stash. Also, please welcome the moderator for this session, CNN reporter and producer Haley Drazen, who will be leading the discussion.
In the middle. All right, I guess I'm on the far.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a good lunch. Just making sure.
Hi, everybody.
This is
Hello.
me. That's you.
Maybe you can
So
figure it out.
today we have Dov Marmer, who is head of banking as a service at Greendot, and Claudio Esposito, VP of bank product at Stash. So let's jump right in. So Dov, for those who don't know Greendot, give us the 30-second elevator pitch.
So Greendot's the company that invented prepaid cards. So if you walk into any Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, 100,000 retailers, you can pick up this alternative financial product that we created. And we've kind of have our own portfolio of different financial products that you kind of find in your everyday retail environment. That was the big innovation that we brought to the market. Over 20 years, we built a platform that issues cards at scale and manages the end-to-end program of a big banking program. And a few years ago, we decided to basically allow other companies to build their own financial products on top of our infrastructure. So kind of an AWS, if you will, with an expert team that kind of guides our partners in kind of how to create their own financial products. There's probably a list of 10 things that you have to do to build a financial product. They can take 1 through 5, and we'll take 6 through 10. They can take 1 and 2, and we'll take the rest. It's kind of a toolkit that lets you kind of create your vision and your dream, and we kind of help them make it something that is safe for consumers, compliant, but also truly an amazing user experience. And we do that for Uber, Apple, Stash, Walmart, and a number of others.
So to continue the cozy fireside chat, 30-second elevator pitch of Stash.
Sure. So Stash's mission is to bring financial opportunity for all, and that really started about 4 years ago with Stash creating the Invest product that probably people are most familiar with, bringing advice and education to our customers, and then also lowering the barrier to entry and where people can start saving with as little as $5. And over the course of the last 3 years, and most recently the end of last year, that started to include banking, so giving people the tools to manage their money, save, and hopefully invest for the future as well.
So you're both on a mission in some way to simplify the financial services industry, in a way democratize it almost, making it more accessible for people of all incomes to bank, save, and invest. You know, these people include those who may have just graduated from college or families living paycheck to paycheck. I think Stash's customers' average age is 29 years old, making a household income of approximately $50,000. So what tools are you giving them to make these sound investment choices?
Yeah, on the invest side, it really starts with having education be there at every step of the way. So we have podcasts, we have learn articles with just demystifying jargon and teaching people about budgeting and investing, and that extends over to the invest side. We're really trying to simplify things for people. Just start with as little as $5 a day and put that into an index fund, and before you know it, you'll just with a little bit every month, every week, whatever it might be, you'll start thinking about your future self without really having to put too much effort into it.
Are there any safeguards in place to protect your customers from large, market losses? Because investing in capital markets can be risky at times.
Yeah, I think we always try to, in moments of unrest in the market, make sure that we're reaching out to customers, we're giving context to what's happening, and making sure that our strategy is always to make sure people are investing in diversified index funds and dollar cost averaging those investments. So really the best strategy is to keep with that. It's obviously much less risky than single stock investing. So we're just trying to make sure people have content, guidance, advice at every step of the way, and that if they have questions, we're always there to give them that advice and make sure they have context to what's going on in the market.
So Dov, can you talk to us a little bit more about how the partnership between Greendot and Stash started?
Sure. So we take democratization of financial services from a more of a B2B perspective, in the sense that I think in the future of financial services, people are going to bank with the brands that they love. And Stash has a fanatical fan base of customers who want to do whatever Stash builds, their customers will want to go ahead and take it. So, part of what we love about Stash is their user-centric design. They actually went out to the customers and said, what do you want us to build next? They said, well, we would love to be able to use Stash as just a single app for our entire financial life. What Greendot's able to do is we can place banking services into their user experience. They're in the driver's seat, the entire design of how the bank account will look and feel and how it interacts with the invest side of their account. They come to us with all the ideas. One of them was this idea of swipe my card at Walmart, I'm going to get fractional shares of Walmart stock. We've done metal cards. We've kind of done different iterations of design. So they'll come to us with these ideas. We'll kind of help refine them, make them market ready and safe for consumers, and then we bring those out together. So it's truly a partnership that kind of creates something new, something novel, and continues to push the boundaries of what we're able to do in financial services.
And Claudio, how does partnering with Greendot, with a bank, leveraging banking as a service really help Stash innovate more quickly on its banking service platform?
Yeah, so I think one thing we learned with our investment customers is that we spoke to some who were struggling to invest on a consistent basis, and we asked them, what do you guys need help with? And it wasn't due to a lack of interest or a lack of desire to invest. It was really more they were struggling with that week over week, month over month money management and budgeting, and we felt like the best opportunity for us to help our customers be in a position to invest for the long term was to start to help them with those things. So where Greendot really comes in is getting a bank charter, a lot of the operational overhead of running a bank are not things that we wanted to spend our time sort of scaling up and investing in. We wanted to focus on the customer experience, and partnering with Greendot, they bring their expertise in banking, and it allows us to integrate with those services and create features and experiences that help customers manage their money better.
And Dov, you had mentioned some of those other brands that you've partnered with outside of Stash, Uber, Apple, Walmart. What unique role do you think brands play in the future of financial services? And do you feel that it makes it more relatable to customers?
So it absolutely does. I think that all the big brands out there have kind of seen this proliferation of fintech banking and all the new types of experiences that people can bring into financial services. 10 years ago, none of those brands would have even thought to build their own financial product because they would actually have to go out and become a bank. The innovation that we brought is now you can plug into a banking system, but you can still completely customize the end-to-end product design of what you want to create. And each partner has a completely different vision of what that's going to look like. So Uber wants to create not really a bank account. They want to create a way for drivers to get paid instantly, to reward them for their loyalty, and to get them cash back on the things that they spend money the most on throughout their day. In order to do that, you have to have a vehicle of delivering that to a driver, and placing financial services within the Uber ecosystem was a great first step in kind of making it feel like it's all part of one platform. In an Apple example, they wanted the ability that different iPhone users can text money to each other. Does Apple really want to go and become a bank, or would they rather actually partner with someone? You'd never see Greendot. We're completely in the background, and that's a great thing. We love to make our partners look good, and each one of those has a completely different idea of what that might look like.
So you talk about the experience economy, the likes of Uber and stuff. For Stash, how do you continue evolving in this mobile-first, digital-first environment that, all consumers and customers are, transitioning towards?
Yeah, well, I think building on the sort of brand side of it, I think when we launched, Stockback, really what happens there is every time a user makes a purchase, right, they're getting a fractional share in a brand that they care about. And for a lot of people, just investing it's just that first step that really is a challenge for them. So if we can make that automatic for somebody, they're going to be spending anyway. If we can turn that into an opportunity for them to start investing, I think that's just breaking the ice for them without even asking them to change their behavior. And then things can start from there, right? They've taken that first step. They can start to, learn about what it means to be investing, saving for the future, and then hopefully we can grow with them on that journey. And it just started by them doing what they would normally do with a brand that they love.
What is the biggest problem that each of your companies aim to solve with respect to financial services today?
So we solve time to market and complexity. So think of any brand that wants to build their own version of financial services, whatever that might look like, if it's a payment product, a bank account, a card, they want to design it end to end. They want it to feel like them. The problem that we solve is that in order to actually make that a reality, there's millions of dollars in investment in infrastructure and some pretty serious expertise that you actually need to build in order to make that happen. You need to know supply chain management and fraud management and customer care and own a bank and all the different things that come along with that. So the problem that we solve is simplifying that entire complex rubric of all the different pieces that need to work together, put it into a simple package of tools that any developer can then integrate to, and then also act as that guide or that Ivy League professor along the way that says, hey, here's what I'm thinking about building, but can you help me actually make it market ready? And then we have this incredible team that kind of takes them along that journey in order to build the next iteration of their product. And the proof is in the pudding when you kind of look at the different kind of brands and products that we've kind of helped our partners build and brought to market together.
Yeah, I think for us, it's just, it's creating opportunities to sort of help people with the everyday challenges that they have. So, it's really not that much more complicated than that. People struggle to have an emergency fund. People struggle to consistently save for retirement. So for us, if we can create a product that gets rid of all the hidden fees that people struggle with today, and then on top of that, create an experience that helps them understand how best to manage their money, how best to pay their bills, and how best to then hopefully take what's left over and start building that emergency fund or saving for retirement or even saving money for their kids to have in the future. That's the problem to solve. And I think with all the proliferation of these free accounts, the utility is out there, and that's the basic need. But the aspirational wants that people have for their future self, for their future families, is really the problem that we're trying to solve. And that's how you tie all these different products together into an experience that makes it easy and makes people feel comfortable that they're on the right path.
Women in particular, regardless of their age and income bracket, are getting hit with more banking fees. Why do you think that is?
I think that's because the traditional system isn't always working for everybody. It's built on fees, and I think for us, that's not something that Stash was built upon, so it's easy for us to not be dependent on those things, right? We don't need fees to make our business work, so we don't have overdraft fees, we don't have a monthly maintenance fee for your debit card account, so we're taking those things out of the equation, and I think more and more players in the fintech space are as well, and that makes it easier for people to decide, okay, well, which of these brands, which of these platforms are going to help me achieve the goals that I have for my family or my money or myself, and you can make that choice without having to worry about a $35 overdraft fee.
Banking the unbanked seems to be a popular term in fintech these days. Blockchain and cryptocurrency, you see, are touting that ability too. How is your company, both of your companies, kind of getting ahead of this?
So we haven't really kind of dipped our toe into the water of blockchain just yet. Personally, I'm still on the fence if it's a Ponzi scheme, a great way to buy drugs online, or something that's actually going to have a material future similar to gold. I just read a book about the Winklevoss twins that kind of was a bit of a biography that kind of talked a little bit about the more positive side and the regulated side and what they're trying to do with the industry overall. And it was actually really interesting and eye-opening. Highly recommend the book. But until that becomes a little bit more solid and concrete, we as a company have decided not to dip our toes into it just yet. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't sometime in the future if the right opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, I think Stash similarly has an answer, maybe boring to this crowd, but I think, for our investors and for our customers who are just trying to get started and just feel confident about what they're doing and that their money's safe, I think for us, cryptocurrency is just too volatile of a thing for us to put on the platform and say, let's hope for the best. I think for us, we're just trying to get people to understand what an index fund is and what a dividend is and basic terminology that people, I think that we all take for granted, but is intimidating to a lot of people. And I think if you add something like crypto on top of that, it's asking a lot of people to understand and trust in.
Dov had mentioned the Winklevoss twins, and their book is Bitcoin Billionaires. I just finished it as well. We had them as a guest on our CNN podcast, Boss Files. So I do recommend checking out both the book and the podcast that I produce. Last question. So where do you guys see banking as a service 1 year from now, 5 years out from now? What's the future?
So we think we're just in the early innings of a really long trajectory. I think you'll see a lot of cross-collaboration between different brands. I think you'll see the new brands that are building these new fintech products with this obsessive consumer focus really pushing the envelope of what financial services can look like. From a personal perspective, in my stash account, if I put my paycheck in there and I have extra, I just invest it. Because they both live in one app, it actually just makes it much more likely that I'm going to invest more money. And just that simple notion completely changes the game in terms of how to build long-term wealth.
Yeah, I mean, I think where we're trying to add value is, by having an invest in banking platform that works together, the more we can use data science and data modeling to drive that advice for customers. So a lot of the overhead that they do on their own, either on paper in their head with, I have all these accounts, I have to split my paycheck 9 different ways to pay this bill, I have to move this money on this date. The more we can use technology to simplify the overhead of all of that and make it easier for people to manage their money, I think that's really the interesting challenge that I feel like no one has really solved yet.
Great. So we'll stay tuned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.